Now being 3:02 on May 17th, 2023, I'll call the Laconia Police Commission meeting to order. Would you please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I put that thing on vibrate. Roll call, Commissioner Mello.
Yeah.
Commissioner Davis.
Here.
Commissioner Whitten is here. We have established a quorum, and we will proceed to the agenda. Let the minutes show that Executive Assistant Laurie Marsh is here as recording secretary, and Chief Matthew J. Cantfield is at the table. Moving on to personnel matters, commendations and awards. Chief Cantfield.
Nothing?
Resignations and retirements. Chief Cantfield.
We did have three. We didn't have a commission meeting last month, so over the last 2 months, we've had 3 resignations. One was Officer Holly Callanan, who took a job at Police Standards and Training. One was Officer Carlin Brown, who went to Concord PD. And the third was our Animal Control Officer, Michelle King, who took another job with another entity.
I think it's important to recognize that none of those people were dissatisfied with the department. It's more personal reasons than.
That is correct. I met with each one of them, and they were actually, all 3 of them were sad and leaving, so losses for us.
Promotions, Chief Canfield.
Nothing?
Command staff reports, the support division, Chief Canfield.
So they're working on end-of-year budget wrap-up. Captain Grayton had a meeting with the city finance director and just compared notes and on the budget. I was told it was close, but it is on track. Doing a lot of grant wrap-ups or grant maintenance, so that's taken a lot of their time. Detectives have done a lot of active shooter presentations for community groups, including all the city employees here at City Hall. And the fence project is still on track at the PD, albeit the company is very slow, but they should be wrapping it up soon. That's it.
And on to general orders and the attrition summary, and IPC summary, and the use of force summary.
I have nothing on those unless there's specific questions.
Questions? No. Moving on to Operations Division, Chief Canfield.
So they're in their really busy time of year as far as summer scheduling and final tweaks to the Motorcycle Week planning and preparations. We had the meeting this morning with all of our law enforcement partners and all of our partners from Motorcycle Week for that matter, as our final meeting before the event. So we're looking forward to policing the 100th anniversary and keeping it and maintaining a safe event. Officers Larson, Hendricks, and Sullivan recently graduated from the police academy. So after almost a year of being employed here, they're almost set to be released on their own. So that's a great thing. That's it.
And nothing under hirings.
Let me get back to this one question, sorry. That's it. On the use of force summary, was that done for a particular reason? It was a great summary piece, looked very well, kind of reflected well in the department, but is that done for any particular reason, or was just?
We do it every year. It's a clear accreditation requirement, but also that we take a look at all of our uses of forces throughout the year, and if there are training needs or training deficiencies, we look to correct those, so, and really take a look at our uses of force. Our uses of force are very, very reasonable, as you can see.
Right.
And we use the least amount of force necessary. I think the training is a big part of that.
Yeah, it was a great summary, I mean, it's very clear,
Good.
broke it down well, so.
Yeah, thank you.
Under hirings, do you have any prospective candidates? And
We do have several backgrounds in the process that we hope to put on probably the middle to third week of July. One, he came home on leave from the Marine Corps, so he'll be discharged in the beginning of July, so we're looking to put him on. We've started his background, and we also have one other background in progress.
moving on to commission action, acceptance of the minutes of the previous meeting. You've all had time to read the minutes, and are there any alterations, corrections, additions?
I make a motion, we accept them as written.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor? On a motion made by Commissioner Mello, seconded by Commissioner Davis, passes unanimously. The meeting minutes of the 15th were accepted as distributed. Moving on to out-of-state schools.
I do have two requests for out-of-state training. The first one is a human trafficking and narcotics investigation at New England HIDA, which is the High Intensity Drug Trafficking Association. That's located in Methuen, Massachusetts. It's a one-day training class for Detectives Kendra Neary, Detective Eric Benoit, and Detective Sergeant Ben Black. There is no cost to the school. That is fully funded by New England HIDA. The second request would be to send Detective Howe and Detective Neary to the drone assessment and response tactics. That's put on by the National Homeland Security in Playa, New Mexico. There is no cost to us. That is fully funded by Department of Homeland Security and FEMA.
Any questions on those?
It's a good deal. I mean, it's nice, it's paid for, so.
I'll entertain a motion to accept these out-of-state schools.
So move.
Motion made by Commissioner Mello, seconded by
Second.
Commissioner Davis. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. The above out-of-state schools were approved, or are approved. Review of monthly activity reports, department monthly highlights. Chief Canfield.
So for the month of April, we responded to a total of 1,999 calls for service. Conducted 90 park walk and talks, 355 extra patrols, 20 community policing events, investigated 20 criminal offenses, made a total of 105 total physical custody arrests, made 3 DWI arrests, took 14 people into protective custody. We responded to 26 domestic disturbances, 61 other disturbances, 2 suicidal subjects, and investigated 2 violation restraining orders. And the Victim Services Unit donated 8 hours of their time for volunteer hours for the month.
Questions or comments? Those calls for service are, for a town this size, are
Yeah, I mean,
remarkable.
we certainly have our challenges. You know, the calls for service themselves, you see other departments, I know, I think I was looking at another town up north, which is much smaller than here, and they have 52,000 calls for service or somewhere in that area for last year. But it depends what you pull a call for service for, you know. You can pull your call for service for washing your cruiser or stop and take a trash barrel out of the road, but it's not really a police call for service. We record true calls for service differently, so
Yeah.
It is busy.
Moving on to criminal investigative unit statistics, Chief Canfield.
So detectives initiated or assigned 24 new cases for the month of April, conducted 19 follow-up investigations, made 6 felony arrests, initiated 8 felony charges, 4 misdemeanor arrests, 6 misdemeanor charges, did a total of 22 search warrants, cleared 2 cases exceptionally, did 15 sex offender registrations, investigated 4 computer-related cases or cyber tips, 7 cell phone extractions, 2 background investigations, 6 knock and talks, 3 field interviews. They conducted 1 polygraph and did 46 body-worn camera redactions.
I can't, I've gone through this list here, and I just can't believe that the amount of work that these people are doing, and doing it efficiently and with what personnel we do have. It's unbelievable. And I gotta say that these people should be notified of the fact that they're doing a wonderful, wonderful job.
They do. They work hard, and they do a good job, I agree.
They do.
Just got one quick question about, and I know you've told us this before, but is somebody in the department responsible for the electronic, cyber stuff that might come across your desk? And
Primarily John Howe, Detective Howe, and Detective Eric Benoit. There's quite an expertise in that area, so they've been to quite a bit of training in that area. We do have it's called a Celebrate machine, and we also have what's called Gray Shift, Gray Stone, which is the ability to extract information out of cell phones. In fact, the Gray Shift we're one of 3 agencies in the state that have that technology, aside from the state lab. So Manchester PD, and then they have one up in Grafton County. So there is quite an expertise to get that training, but also to be able to extract from cell phones or computers.
so they can do that if it's locked?
Generally speaking, iPhones are much more difficult.
Yeah.
But the Gray Shift, Gray Key can access that
Yeah.
sometimes.
Something, yeah.
And it's all pursuant to search warrants too.
Right, right.
So.
Budget printouts, Chief Canfield.
I have nothing on this unless there's any questions.
Appears to be very much right on. I mean, under, but close to where we should be.
It is, I
But
think
well under.
our overall budget looks good. You know, it's, our overtime costs are higher than they've been, not by choice, but by necessity. The more people you have in training, like the 3 officers that graduated from the police academy, they've been in training for a year that they've worked here, and they're being paid, their salaries. So you're down those positions. You have to fill those positions somewhat, even though we go to minimum manning, you still have to fill those with overtime. So you have kind of the double the cost, 2.5 times the cost for those positions, which is a challenge this year, but we look forward to them getting out of training and helping be back on the street, so.
Monthly traffic statistics, Chief Canfield.
For the month, we issued a total of 12 parking tickets, investigated a total of 24 motor vehicle accidents, 5 of which were with injury. Made a total of 510 motor vehicle stops, issued 23 summonses, and 429 written warnings.
Questions? And moving on to monthly fleet report, Chief Canfield.
I have nothing unless you have specific questions. Our last car is coming online. As everything, the equipment shortages and stuff delayed them going online, but they'll be all online here very shortly.
Correspondence to and from the department, Chief Canfield.
A nice thank you letter from a woman who thanked us for investigating the graffiti that was found at the state school property. There's another nice thank you letter for Sergeant Cardinal for the time she spent with an incident at someone's house, and they said that she was very kind and took the time to really solve the problem, so it was nice. Another thank you letter. I did a talk for a veterans group for the Knights of Columbus. As you see there was a nice email thanking me for that presentation. And then there was a nice thank you letter from the president of the Jewish Temple, Benai on Court Street, thanking Tony Haran and Ben Black for doing an active shooter presentation and security risk assessment down there, so. And there was a couple other thank yous in there.
Moving on to the chief's report, Chief Canfield.
So the new Spider notification technology is active, and the implementation went really flawlessly. I get a daily report. I'm working on a way to be able to print the results for you. Unfortunately, it comes in a report that is so micro that it's very difficult to read. So I'm looking at getting a different format, but you know, our survey rate is about 26% right now of people that get the survey link, which is incredibly high according to the company, that to get the 26% respondent rate is really good. And I would say about 98% of those are very, very positive comments on feedback, whether it be for dispatchers or officers. So it's really nice feedback. It does rank us as far as a scale of 1 to 5, and we're consistently in the high 4.85, 4.90. So it's good statistical information that I will work on getting that report to you, so it's formatted better. On April 15th, as you know, we held a full-scale active shooter exercise at the Pleasant Street School. It was 3 different training evolutions with all of our law enforcement partners and fire EMS as a warm zone EMS. It was 3 different evolutions. Each training evolution had a debrief with it, and then there was an overall after-action debrief, and be followed up with an after-action report. So some learning takeaways, but certainly very good training, which was all funded by Homeland Security. This is National Police Week. Last Saturday, we held a bicycle and skateboard safety event in collaboration with Kiwanis at O-Pee-Chee Park. It was very well attended. We gave out over 70 bicycle helmets. We've been working with Homeland Security, Emergency Management to conduct safety school assessments of all the schools within the city. So I think the last one was wrapped up, I think it was yesterday. I participated in a National FBI Partners Call regarding hoax active shooter calls last month, which was had some very good takeaways. I participated in the IACP Terrorism Committee virtual meeting, which I'm going to be doing some work on a subgroup with them. We'll be participating in the Special Olympics torch run on May 30th, and then assisting them with the Special Olympic Games at the end of that same week down at UNH. Officer Rick Bassett is very involved with that, and he does a lot of volunteer time on his own time with the organization, and really brings a lot of good stuff to them to help them. So our budget presentation is scheduled for June 5th at 7 p.m. here. For the month of April, we had 11 overdose, 11 overdoses. We have a total of 13 for 2023. And year-to-date line of duty deaths are at 42 across the nation. That is all I have.
Questions, comments? Moving on to old business.
Sorry. Nothing.
Nothing under old business?
So one question, well, I guess it's an old business. Just had a wild board meeting the other day, and a question came up, and I wasn't sure. We had talked about purchasing bicycles at one point. Just wondered if that was still in the works, or if you give any more thought to that.
It is in the works. We had applied for a micro grant for it. We did not get the micro grant. We had worked with the county commission to get some ARPA funds for them. They did not decide to do that at the moment. I know the mayor was involved with trying to reapproach that request. The WOW Trail Association has donated $5,000 towards one bicycle.
Yes, yeah.
So we're just waiting on, we do have that, so we need about
Okay.
$30,000
Yeah,
more.
so that's still, yeah,
Yep.
okay, great.
But I do look forward to implementing that program because, you know, as we see the activity out on the WOW Trail is, it needs to be policed for
Yes.
sure. And the e-bikes are way more efficient and would be a real benefit to policing the WOW Trail, so
Those are nice bikes, too.
particularly. They are,
Yeah, nice to ride.
yeah, very nice.
Did you get one?
I rode it. Well, not get one.
New business,
Nothing?
other business.
Nothing?
One question, on the 21st, when they're going to move that group out of Spruce Street, how will it be done? I mean, is it the city going in, like the highway department going in and cleaning up the,
You know, I have a meeting tomorrow afternoon to discuss the logistics of how we're gonna do it. I know there's several different thoughts on how, but there needs to be a well-formulated plan with an operational plan, as well as I think there needs to be services provided when people leave, but also a method to deal with people who refuse to leave, and then the subsequent cleanup afterwards. So we're looking to meet tomorrow to kind of finalize that.
how many people are in there?
It's gotta be 50 plus.
Really?
Is that private property or is that
It's
city?
city-owned property.
Okay, citizens' comments.
I got nothing.
I'm gonna get in line, you know.
I'm not here. Oh, you locked out? Yeah, I announced I was running for president this morning. I got booed and cheered at and so on.
Yeah,
You're done.
I'm all done.
I was gonna help you out, but
There was no help.
Confirmation of the next meeting date, June 21st, 2023. Conflict?
Good for me.
Okay. And I understand we do have a need for non-public, according to RSA 91A:3, 2A, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee or the disciplining of such an employee or the investigation of any charges against him or her, unless the employee affected, one, has the right to a public meeting, and two, request that the meeting be open, in which case the request shall be granted. So I'll entertain a motion to go into non-public.
I'll make a motion.
Before you do that, what was the date again next month?
21st.
June 21st.
I'll make a motion to go into non-public.
Is there a second?
second.
On a motion made by Commissioner Davis, so seconded by Commissioner Mello. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, it passes unanimously. In accordance with RSA 91A:3, 2A, the Laconia Police Commission entered into non-public at 3:26 PM. Roll call to go to non-public. Commissioner Woodham, yes. Commissioner Mello?
Yes.
And Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Yes.
We off the line?